Now, look, I want to start with where the latest count is up to for the state election, because it does seem like the Minns majority is narrowing.
It's actually fascinating, Sharri. I mean, the Labor Party were understandably celebrating with champagne, in their case beer, out of Cogra, a very big landslide
Prosecco,
election.
no champagne inside?
Yeah, indeed. But that landslide has now turned into a trickle, and the government's going to be there in a minority status. They will not get a majority in either house. That's not the way a government wants to get elected at the beginning. That's the way you finish. In fact, they'll probably have the kind of seat configuration in reverse that we had at the end of the 12-year term, not the start.
Yeah. Now, that's not to take away from the fact there were massive swings against the Liberal Party in some previously safe seats. But does it make you wonder that if Gladys Berijiklian was still the Premier with a result like this, she might have got the Liberals back into government?
Gladys Berijiklian, like Dom Perrottet, in fact, like Mike Baird and Barry O'Farrell before them, was a phenomena. I mean, she was standalone a phenomena. What she did during COVID made her really an Australian icon, and she was much loved across party lines, which was the really impressive feature. So for her to go on the basis of an ICAC inquiry that was orientated to finding scandal elsewhere and stumbled upon her is a tragedy of politics and of the national interest.
Well, so two things. Could she have won this election then?
Well, Gladys could have and should have won the election. It was a hard task for Dom Perrottet, but I do want to say this. Dom Perrottet started out with a level of expectation in the coalition that was far surpassed by his performance.
Yes, no,
he's been really tremendous.
He did very well.
He and Matt Keane were a good team, conservative, moderate, seamless working.
Well, we'll come back to Matt Keane in a moment. But look, I want to ask you more about the ICAC, because it has destroyed 3 Liberal premiers now. None of them have been found to be corrupt. I very much doubt Gladys will have any findings made against her, and even if they are, everyone knows in the city that she was not corrupt. Dominic Perrottet had the chance. He could have come in with goodwill behind him and done reform of the ICAC. He didn't. It does need to be reformed, doesn't it? Because it's destroying innocent lives.
Well, there are at least 2 things that need to be addressed in a reform process. But the challenge is you'll never get any reform through the Legislative Council. You just won't get it. Now you probably wouldn't even get it through the Legislative Assembly because the government doesn't run the Parliament as things currently stand.
No, but
coming to the reform,
when Dominic Perrottet took over from Gladys, that is the point.
Was the moment in time, and there were lots of people like Margaret Cunneen and others who, in a very healthy way, calling for the reform that it needed. There are 2 issues, I'd say. Firstly, on the one hand, this perhaps might surprise you, I think it needs to be better resourced, because one of the great tragedies is that it is taking far too long.
Yeah.
It's an injustice, frankly, coming from an instrument of justice. It's an injustice to take so long to make their conclusions. I mean, Gladys has seen, and we've seen off Dom Perrottet in his tenure as Premier, and we still haven't landed on what she's done wrong. The report hasn't been handed down.
Yes, exactly.
The second issue, I'd say, is that it's politicised as an organisation, and it does the ICAC a disservice to have all its inquiries conducted publicly. They should deal with these matters behind closed doors, when and if, on the same basis of the administration of law in every other court in the country.
If there's a
when there's a prima facie case and they want to proceed to a court, then the matter should be heard in public. At the moment, I could make an allegation about you or vice versa. The mere allegation is substance enough.
But I take your point.
But the point, the mere allegation is substance to then proceed with a whole inquiry.
Exactly.